Welcome to the Manuchehri podcast. Over the last 30 years, it has been my joy to assist humanity in aligning with their magnificence so they may heal, discover their natural gifts, and communicate with loved ones living on the other side. May you also experience delight while we dance in the powerful, intuitive world of energy. Let's get going. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Marie Manuchehri, and welcome to my podcast. Before I go to the voicemail and start to listen to all of the lovely questions that you so graciously leave for me, remember, only one question, not three, not five, one question. One question, please. I think that's critical. So be mindful of your question and leave some sort of direction. Many of you do, but some people leave open-ended question. Like if you want a mediumship question, do you want it for your entire family? Was there someone in particular you're looking for? There's a lot of dead people on the other side, a lot. So it can be, like, do you want to talk to everyone? Great-grandparents? Is there an uncle? Do you want me to just wait to see who walks up first? I mean, I don't know what you want. But so a little bit of direction would be helpful because I don't have a lot of time for each one of these questions. And most importantly, not just about the questions, but just in general, I always talk about joy and feelings of bliss and happiness. And I think I've described well the reason why I'm encouraging you to first figure out what that feels like for you and then making decisions based on joy. So joy is like the universe signal lane telling you, come this way. Come on over here, keep going or stop, turn left, turn right, go back. That's how the universe is communicating to you in a very rich and profound way. So if you don't know what joy feels like in your own body, which is a unique thing, not everybody wants to go to a wetland park. I went twice yesterday. So much I love it and how much joy it brings me. I was hoping to catch the beavers swimming in the bay, but I don't think I was there at the right time. They're usually there at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. I got there around 5:30 and I only walked for like an hour and some change with Charles, but I didn't see any beavers. And I really took my time along the boardwalk so I could really stare, into the waters because beavers are like under the water and then they're up for a little bit, then back under, and they're kind of fast. So you really have to have your eyes open to catch a glimpse of them. But in the background, I'm just telling you this because I think you could feel my passion and my joy as I describe, the beaver area. In the background, there's this huge pile of sticks, which I think I talked about recently, of the home. And it's really like an apartment complex that the beavers have made. It looks gorgeous. I mean, I can't get up close to it because it's in a wetland park and it's in the buffered area zone. Like, you couldn't walk it. You'd have to swim or canoe over there. And canoes are not allowed in that area for great reasons. But just looking at, their architectural design and wondering how many live. I mean, I could Google how many live in the beaver place, but I just wanted to kind of feel it and kind of come to my own intuitive perceptions about how many live. I can tell you there's one bossy beaver that lives in there that kind of rules the roost, so to speak. That's the one I noticed, probably big, definitely male, running the roost. Adorable. So I just gave you a snapshot into something that brings me joy. I feel like sometimes I'm doing undetermined, spiritual sign language when I teach and talk. It's kind of funny. And until you can come across what really brings you joy and act on it and include it into your life, it's going to be difficult to get your own sign language that's coming from the universe because the universe responds in joy. How many times have you had a moment where something just uplifted you spontaneously into this happy feeling of bliss, kind of shocked you and surprised you? You were in a good spot where you weren't overthinking, you weren't overanalyzing. Perhaps you were on vacation and you got into the vibration of the universe. And if you had been paying attention to the how, what, where, when, or why of how you got into that frequency, that could give you a heads up about what's next for you. One of the times that I felt enormous bliss in my life was the first time I walked into a hospital as an adult, as a patient to get a blood draw. And I was shocked by how happy I was, especially considering how many family members of mine hate hospitals and how we were, trained basically as young kids to be frightened of modern medicine. And some of you are probably saying that's a good thing. But I think anything that we're taught to have fear of, we need to be reflective about that and maybe embrace it. But I had an enormous high vibrational experience while walking into a hospital to have a blood drawn while I was pregnant with my first child. And it is while working in a hospital that my psychic ability opened. So there's all these beautiful gems that lead on top of each other that can only be detected from the vibration of your body of joy. And you have to get curious about those joyful moments. Like I could have said to myself, wow, that was an extraordinary experience that I had, because it was extraordinary, and went against everything my mind thought that I would emotionally experience when I walked into a hospital by myself. Granted, I think I was 23 at the time, so I was young. But instead of making a logical decision about what all that meant, I just stayed curious about the joy, and I kept re-entering into the vibration because it felt so good. And when you do that, when you keep entering into the vibration, you give the universe more opportunity to connect with you, communicate with you, to get clear. Because a lot of people throughout my life had told me I should be a nurse. But my logical mind went, yeah, you're a woman, you're of this particular century. Of course, people think you should be a nurse or a teacher. You don't have a lot of options according to what they believe, right? So I could logically get out of whatever my mind thought that it meant or didn't mean. But if you stay in the vibration and revisit every single time you find joy, or every single time that joy erupts in your life for no reason, you want to harness that energy. You want to be in that place. You want to let yourself stay there as long as you can, so that you can calibrate your subatomic particles to become familiar with this vibration, so that you will pay attention every single time it comes into your life. This time of year, late August in the United States, it's really a magical time, because I think people have spent enough days and nights in summer that they've relaxed. Like it's probably not going to be pouring rain every day this summer, and people are having fun. They're taking time off. They're eating meals outside. The kids are playing and riding bikes. It's a really great time in the US for the summer, because everyone's kind of gotten comfy in the energy. So people can run their energy higher. You definitely want to pay attention to whatever is going to stroke your feathers to get you into that higher frequency, because that's what you need to pay attention to it when it spontaneously occurs, when there's something that you need to do differently to be in alignment for your higher self. And I'm not kidding about this. But this is so incredibly important and so incredibly powerful for your own growth of consciousness. Any investment you choose to put into recognizing, feeling, and holding joy for you is a worthwhile pursuit. So please, please, please allow it to happen. It's so important for you. And now you know more of the reasons why I highly recommend that you choose things that bring you joy. So if something doesn't bring you joy, when my kids were little, and we all had house chores or things we needed to do, and we entertained a lot. My kids were raised in mostly a Middle Eastern community, and they're partiers. And I don't mean like the drunk, crazy type. I mean, and lots of entertainment. We go to people's houses for dinner. They come to your house for dinner. There's a lot going on. And also your house has to be clean, which was a part of it too, which was lovely. So I didn't make my children do chores that they didn't like. I mean, if everybody said that they didn't want to vacuum, somebody would have had to have. Luckily, I like to vacuum. I have 3 vacuums. I like to vacuum. It's like, I don't know, there's something about it that just brings me joy. So I did the vacuuming. My children's father loved to put away the laundry. Hate to put away the laundry. I don't mind gathering the laundry. I don't mind putting it in the wash machine. I don't mind putting it in the dryer. But getting me to fold laundry doesn't make me happy. One of my daughters hated to do yard work, so I never made her do yard work. The youngest loved to do yard work, even the middle daughter. So they had to go out there and pull weeds. We didn't have grass. We just had, kind of rockery and bark and stuff like that, at least in the later years. We didn't have grass. So the same is true in your own life. If you continue to do things that don't bring you joy, you're going to lower your vibration. You're going to separate yourself from the universe's communication with you. It's going to be a lot harder to hear, see, feel, or know what's in your best interest if you're not following your joy. And if you don't know what joy feels like, how are you going to make a determination about what's next for you? You're not going to know. So exactly what I was doing with the kids, I hope you're doing that with your own life. If there's things that you don't want to do, don't do them. Find someone else to do it for you. Find someone else in the family to do it. You're not supposed to do things that lower your vibration. And that's another reason to really pay attention to how you're feeling, because if you feel that your energy drops, that means you need to find a different way to resolve that situation. Okay, I hope this is all making sense.
Hi, Marie. My name is Faye, and I'm calling from Seattle. I've heard you mention a handful of times that you really like red light therapy. I think you also said platinum therapy and another one that stands out. And I was wondering if you could give us a trusted retailer or brands that you would like to endorse. I would really like to get started on some red light therapy. And yeah, if you could just let us know what your favorite brands are, and the units that you like the best and where to purchase them, that would be really great. And lastly, what are your thoughts, or do you know anything about methylene blue? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Faye. So what I was saying, if you know how to feel joy, then you're going to know what to pick, even in terms of a near infrared and red light therapy machine, or what to do with methylene blue, which is very interesting. I'm very attracted to the phrase methylene blue. I even bought a product, but then I couldn't use it. And I wouldn't say that it wouldn't bring me joy. It just, maybe it wasn't time for my body to use it. Maybe I don't need it, but I do think it's a promising product for some people. I'm not even sure exactly what it does. So, Faye, you probably need to do some research on methylene blue. Is it going to be helpful for what you need? I do think it has a powerful high frequency, but for whatever reason, mine is still in the back of the pantry. And so I'm honoring that. I'm not throwing it away. I'm just waiting to find out what it really means for me. So the red light that I like, it's a combination, red light with near infrared light. This combination needs to be happening, not just red light therapy. I don't think that's enough. I don't think it's going to give people what they need. It needs to be combination, near infrared light and red light. And there's a book that we like. We can attach it again, as we have many times, to the podcasts. So Christine, who edits the podcasts and a lot of our videos, will place that down for all of you. Again, and the brand I like the most is called Platinum Therapy, which, interesting enough, the book that you'll be able to see below talks about platinum therapy. I also like Red Rush, which is another light. I think I have the 400 series. I have three different near infrared and red light devices, because I also like to loan them out to friends or family who might need them. Yeah, I think they're very cool. And I originally got them for collagen to help my skin. And if for some sun damage that I had on my skin too. My sun damage has decreased significantly, and the collagen has been helpful. But I will tell you that every time I've had some sort of medical procedure, like I had some oral surgery a couple of times, and I've told my health practitioners that I have, near infrared and red light therapy, do you want me to use it post these procedures? And they always say, yes, use it. So it's very helpful and very effective and very good for our bodies. It feeds the mitochondria, which is, a cellular function that derives ATP into the body, which is energy. It's the medical form of energy. Yeah, so that's what I think. It's very good. I think you'll love it, and I think you'll enjoy it. These devices have become more expensive over the years, so you don't have to get a large panel if you don't want to. You can get a small one because the light really does expand out. Yeah, and I would follow the recommendations of the book because I think they're excellent. Okay, thank you. Great question.
Hi, Marie. My name is Cash. I'm a 38-year-old trans man veteran. I live in Alaska, and I grew up out in Bush, Alaska.
Cool.
I served during Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, I feel like I've had a strange life, really strange, like the worst imaginable experiences. So bad that I feel like I can't even
Oh,
share them with people outside of my
yeah.
partner because
Right.
they are unbelievable.
Right.
Juxtaposition with some of my wildest dreams coming true. And by the age of 30, I realized that all of my lessons that are hard to learn usually happen when I go with my logical side and not my gut. So at the age of like 33, I was going through the worst time of my life. I
Mm.
lost most of my family, and I was coming out of homelessness, and just everything didn't even seem like worth living, truthfully. And I had to go through this long journey of self-healing. And I've learned to trust my intuition more. And right now, I'm finishing up an EMT course because I always loved the
Mm.
idea of healing people and
Me
helping
too.
people. But I also feel like I'm not sure this is the route for me. And I've I do sometimes wonder if I have clairaudience, clairsentience,
Mm-hmm.
claircognizance, because I can feel the vibrations of the universe within me, sometimes showing me things that are impossible to know and telling me yes or no or be careful.
Hmm.
Or I just feel so in touch with people's vibes that at times I feel it feels intrusive, like I'm reading their
It's
thoughts and I need
not.
to stop.
No, it's not
Um,
intrusive.
and I really want to take one of your courses. I'm saving up for it. I'd love to be guided by you. But my question is, do your guides or mine have a message for me or any guidance to help me discern what I should do next or how I should approach my life purpose? Thank you so much for your time. Much love to you.
Thank you, Cash. Much love to you as well. I think EMT is a great idea. I do think you need to explore intuition and clairvoyance, clairaudience, all of those things. I think you're a sensitive person and obviously empathetic. I don't think you lost your family. I don't. I have a very different definition of family. I think family members are people whom you feel loved, adored, and cherished by. Period. So if we have DNA counterparts, we don't feel those things, they're not family. So I think you just made a good decision about whom you should surround yourself with. And I think sometimes we make our life more challenging, to making the decisions about who you are and then living in one of the most beautiful places in the world, Alaska, with fresh air. I mean, the air there with the bog and it's stunning. But it's not a forgiving place for anyone, not for the animals in the wilderness, not for the humans that live there. It's not an easy place to dwell in. And then sometimes when we want to be so unique and different, and then picking a complicated place to live in for anyone, it's harder. It sets things up more challenging. So that's a good question to ask yourself. Am I choosing to make my life more difficult or complicated? I think that's a great question to ask yourself, right? Because there's many places in the world to live. Although you may massively love Alaska, and so that's why you're making a decision to stay there. But I think some people choose to live in parts of the world they're not the best place for them. One of my friends who was born in California but has lived for many, many decades in the Northwest, she really prefers the sun. She says she's happier when the sun's out. She's going to continue to stay here because her children live here and her grandchildren. And we are getting warmer in the Northwest. Like, people have air conditioning now in their homes, where I've lived here my whole life. I never had an air conditioning in a home until about 8 years ago because we didn't need it. We didn't have high heat for more than a day or two a year. And the high heat would be in the 80s. Now we get high heat for several weeks in the 90s. And so, now we have air conditioning. Some of us do. So what I'm trying to say is that you really need to become a little bit more selfish. You've had all these careers where you give to others and you care about others and you love and adore and cherish others. And that's wonderful. I'm not taking that away from you. But are you in the place where you're loving, adoring, and cherishing yourself just as much as you are others? Like, I don't think I could live. I know I couldn't live in certain parts of the world. I've still never been to Las Vegas because when I look at the energy there, I know my body would not enjoy it at all. Even though I'd love to fly in, watch Bruno Mars, have a good meal and fly out, which I might do in the future. But I can tell the energy of Las Vegas and the energy of me, not a good match. Like, I would not enjoy it. It could even potentially, but it's okay to recalibrate ourselves, like throw me off a little bit, vibrationally speaking, kind of like how Florida does. Florida throws off my energy a little bit. It's not in my astrocartography, obviously. To live in Florida, the Northwest actually is in my astrocartography. So what I'm trying to say is, I think the EMT is great. It's great to be empathetic. I know it feels like you're reading people's minds, but you're actually reading their energy. And I actually think that's normal. I think that's normal to read the energy of other people, especially when it's coming across to you spontaneously. Like, it's giving you information which you might need in your work while you're helping to save someone's life, right? So try not to block it. I think that's part of your pattern, is to blame yourself or shame yourself in some way, when you just need to give yourself the get out of jail free card and go. Just go. Be as intuitive as you possibly can. It's normal. We walk into each other's energy all day long. Those that are living, those that are crossed over, spirit guides, we're all just walking into each other's aura and energy system all day long. So you're not crossing some psychic line of disrespect. When I'm in public, I choose to be in my body and not read other people's energy, because I read people's energy for a living and I need to be in my own body and be concerned with my own needs. But if I've had a spontaneous understanding of others, I wouldn't block it or think that I was stepping on or trespassing into their space. This will be the future for everyone. Everyone will learn to read the energy of others. And then the other thing that I thought was interesting, I've never heard the universe to tell me to be careful. The universe it doesn't communicate that way typically. It communicates like, oh, let's go get another latte, or, oh, let's take the car instead of the bus, instead of be careful. The universe doesn't think that even negative things that occur in the world are bad. They're just experiences. So just be mindful of that, because that may not be intuition. Thank you, Cash. And I truly look forward to your joyful expansion in the human realm. Thank you.
Hi, Marie. My name is Patricia. I live in Central California. Recently found you on Next Level Soul podcast.
Yeah.
And just love you. Started listening to every episode you've done. So I have been on a healing journey and a raising my vibration journey for most of my adult life. My childhood was somewhat traumatic. And I have a question about my son, who is just turned 31,
Mm-hmm.
and he is suffering with schizophrenia. He became ill at the age of 15,
Oh,
so
that's
very
young.
young,
Yeah.
and did receive this diagnosis, which was devastating in so many ways for
Mm-hmm.
me and for
Mm-hmm.
our family.
Mm-hmm.
And, as you may know, the care systems for people with severe mental illnesses in our country are terrible. There's very little
Non-existent.
support for
Yeah.
them or for
Right.
families who are trying to take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
He does live with me, and I do continue to take care of him, but it's very isolating for both of us. So my question is, what do you recommend as far as healing modalities or things that I can do to help him?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any hope that he can recover or even just live an easier life
Mm-hmm.
at some point?
Mm-hmm.
Any advice or input on that? And anything that you can tell me about why this happened, and, you know, just how could such a thing happen to such an amazing, beautiful, smart, artistic soul? Because he was a very incredible person in every way before
Still
this
is.
happened. So,
Still is.
any advice you can give me moving forward would be greatly appreciated. I love your work, and I'm so happy that I found you. It feels like this huge gift, and it brings me so much comfort to know that there are people like you out there in the world.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I hope that many more people open up to their natural abilities. I wish that for everyone. Okay, so I'm very sorry about your son's early diagnosis of schizophrenia. It's usually in the first year of college age group, 18, 19, 20, 21. Although people can be diagnosed later in life, even as a child, even younger than what your son was diagnosed with. So the first thing I want you to do, and I know this is going to be hard, but you need to stop looking at this from a victim consciousness perspective. Your son's soul ordered this. I promise you. When a soul is deciding to reincarnate into the physical realm, um, things that happen in childhood are primarily predestined, because as children don't have a lot of control over their lives. They can't control who they live with or what they eat and what homes they're going to be living in. They don't have control over that because they're children, right? And they don't work, hopefully, and make those decisions. They can't. But their soul can make a lot of decisions that can affect their childhood prior to reincarnating. First of all, we choose our parents, and we choose what part of the world we're going to live in by choosing our parents. We choose what religion we're going to be taught, if we're going to be taught religion, because we chose our parents. So there's a lot that goes into a soul's making a decision prior to reincarnation, and health issues that are affected, that are significant in childhood are pre-chosen prior to reincarnation. So your son chose this. And souls choose everything for a really good reason, even if our logical mind can't possibly understand why this happened, whatever that this is. I promise you, from the soul's grand brilliance, there's a good reason. I think people who have a diagnosis or some sort of schizophrenia syndrome, because mental health illnesses, we don't really understand them like we should. Traumas and dramas and previous lifetimes and things like that can truly affect our current mental health. So they can affect, mental health diseases like schizophrenia. But I think overall, people who have schizophrenia or been diagnosed with it, regardless of the reasons why, like, even though we believe from modern medicine's perspective that it's genetic, We don't know that 100%. We don't. And emotional things can affect our health and well-being in any area of the body. But I think people who have schizophrenia really want to learn how to control their life. That's what they want, because their life is kind of out of control. And my first question to you is he taking his meds? And I heard there are new meds that have just reached the market, at least I believe they're on the market now, that have less of the side effects that make schizophrenic people not want to take them. So I think if people, who haven't found a way to start reversing or healing their mental health, and it's significant like schizophrenia, then taking the medication is a way that allows them to have a better relationship with themselves in the world. I do think energy work is very effective for mental health issues. I will say, though, that people who I've been able to help with significant mental health diagnoses put a lot of effort into it. And sometimes people with schizophrenia or other mental health diagnoses don't want to put the effort into it. And so I can't force someone to do homework. I can't force someone to start to change their perceptions. But those who I've been able to help were motivated to do so. So that's the other part of it, is that this particular mental health situation is also requiring the person to have some motivation, right? But I don't want you to look at it from his perspective, because I promise you there was a brilliant aspect that for why he chose this. But there's also a brilliant aspect for you, and you need to stop being such a caregiver. I know, and it makes no sense. You have this child that has all these, health issues, and you move into your old soul, hyper empathic alarm mode when he's a 31-year-old adult. He probably needs to live in a group home somewhere where he can begin to have his own individualization and experiences with other adults. I think that would be good for him, quite frankly. And yes, I agree with you. Our mental health facilities aren't the best. They haven't been for decades now in the United States. I think they were trying to make a change from maybe too controlling and over medicating people in the mental health industry. And then we went, the pendulum completely swung in the other direction. That's one of the reasons why you have so many homeless people in the United States, is because we don't have places where they could go get healthy food, medication, training, therapy, so that they could go out back into the world. So that is a problem in our world, and it won't change until we get a progressive leadership. That's what we need. We need a progressive leadership in the United States that thinks of everyone, not just themselves and people who think like them, right? Because progressive leadership thinks about everybody and wants the best for everyone. That's just what it means in a nutshell. So in order to help your son, I think you need to work on your own issues. You need to stop over feeling what's happening to him, because I don't even think he feels half of what you think he feels. I really don't. I think you're projecting your own insecurities, your own fear, your own worry onto your child, which is not healthy for him, not healthy for you, and it keeps you stuck in this perplexing situation. So it'd be great if you found a Reiki person, someone who, does Reiki or some other form of energy that you really like. And it would be great if you could have sessions, once a week or every 2 weeks or something of that nature, just to help balance him out and help him move into higher levels of consciousness. But first and foremost, you need to stop feeling over empathetic. You need to be okay with where your son's at and stop leaking out your own life force trying to help him, because it's not good for you. And it perpetuates the victimization of his circumstances and yours, because it doesn't give you a life either. That's what I think. That's what you need to work on. Okay, I hope that's helpful. I truly do.
Hi, Mary. This is Nicola from Montreal, Canada. I did a lot of work on myself in the past 3 years.
Great.
And the more I discover myself, the more I realize I want to help people. I want more people in my life. I feel it's time for me to give back.
Okay.
It is new for me to act on my intuition, but this time is different. I want to give life to this calling.
Okay.
I identified 3 ways I could start acting on this calling. It is either psychological support that I could do through volunteering and just accompanying people on whatever they are going through. There's energy
Right.
healing too, maybe massage therapy. Start with massage therapy, maybe Reiki or whatever other energy healing modality. Maybe it's working in an hospital. That could be good for me. Or maybe another fourth option that you will see. And also, I was wondering if this repressed calling have anything to do with my rosacea, who stubbornly refused to leave, or my clenched jaw. I've been clenching my jaw a lot. It's causing problem with my gum, and I really can't find a root cause yet. I don't know if you see something about this. So all in all, psychological support, energy healing, or hospital context. Does this have anything to do with my rosacea clenched jaw? Thank you so much for everything you do, and I'm looking forward to hear your answer. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Nicola. So I love all of this, but are you feeling which one brings you joy? Hello? Does a hospital bring you joy? Does volunteer work for psychological help bring you joy? Does energy work bring you joy? Which I do think it's the middle one. You need to, in my opinion, start to feel the vibration within your own body so you can identify what brings you joy. And then you'll know what to do. Right? It's that simple. And although I appreciate what you said about you want to help people and you want to give back, you're already a very generous, kind, empathetic, considerate person. You already help people all the time, whether you realize it, just in your kind thoughts and your kind presence. So I don't think that should be the motivating factor. It can be part of your decision, but I think it would be your curiosity and your interest and what excites you as an individual in making these decisions. Because when we're doing work to help other people, we can get burnt out. But if you love the topic, you find it fascinating, it uniquely stimulates you, that helps you have less burnout and allows it to continue to thrive and grow and evolve, right? Whatever it is that you are choosing to do. The rosacea comes from the 7th chakra. So it's about our connection to spirit. And when you're not feeling your joy, it's difficult to feel the universe. So skin is governed by our relationship to spirit, getting out of the head, overthinking, analyzing, allowing the universe to love us and adore us and cherish us, to be present during this beautiful exchange that's occurring, whether we realize it or not, although we can allow the occurrence to be bigger, longer, more fulfilling. I would go get a mouth guard for the jaw, the clenching. It's usually clenching starts when someone has a stressful experience in their life, and sometimes it's difficult to get the clenching to stop. I would recommend a night guard. I mean, that's the solution right now. The energetic solution is learning to speak your truth. But if you don't know what you're feeling, you can't express your truth. So spending time finding out what brings you joy is going to help you to find out what you're really feeling, because you're going to notice the difference when you're not in joy. Like, oh, I don't like this. Like, ooh, I'm not comfortable here. Oh, this isn't a good feeling. Interesting. Ooh. Then you'll start to get curious about you and what you want and what's in your best interest. Okay. So I want to thank everyone for listening to this podcast and for leaving your voicemail. I also wanted to say I had an opportunity of watching Suzanne Giesemann's documentary, The Wolf Story. It's so good. I really loved it. I know it can be watched online. It's won many festival awards, but also Suzanne and her husband Ty are traveling around the United States, and they're having premieres of the documentary. So you can just go to Suzanne Giesemann's website and look up this documentary Wolf on her website. It has a whole unique website of its own, and you can find out information about it. I really liked it. I think you would too. Okay, everybody, have a beautiful day. Joyful blessings. Bye-bye.